I have come up with another video related to the study. As you know, studying is a boring task, and most of the time, you don't feel like doing it. So in this video, I will tell you how to study when you don't feel like studying. Let's do a self-check first. Why do you rank lower in exams? Why can't you get enough marks to rank first? Have you ever thought about this? The solution to this problem is very simple. If you want to top any exam, all you need to do is start studying. So maybe the reason behind your poor performance is that you did not study well. Why were you not able to study? There are two possibilities for this. First, you may not have enough time to study, or you may have the time but lack the motivation to study, or you may have the time but lack the desire to study, or you may have the time and the desire to study, but you forget everything after a dedicated study period. Disclaimer about this video. Regardless of your level of motivation or the presence of distractions, I promise that by the end of this video, you will be able to study whenever you want to. I will turn you into a beast if you just stick with me till the end of this video. Without wasting more time, let's start. Reverse Motivation by Jeff Haden. Before moving on to the actual methods, you should understand the concept of reverse motivation. People often think that motivation leads to action, but in reality, it's not entirely true. According to Jeff Haden's book, motivation is a myth. If you wait for motivation, it will lead to inaction. And for successful people, it's the reverse psychology that makes them better, which is that action leads to motivation. For example, imagine a successful person. Doing something productive will be his addiction on a daily basis. Once he finishes his work, he becomes satisfied. Why is it that doing work makes him happy? This is because he has wired his brain in a way that gives him motivation after completing an action. Finishing a task releases dopamine in his brain, which motivates him to work even harder. With this idea in mind, here is a 4-step guideline to solve your problem, which is how to study even when you're not in the mood to study. First step, get a good clarity. We typically don't start studying because we don't know what to study, when to study, or how long to study. So the first step is to gain a good clarity on these issues. You can make a plan something like this. I'm going to solve 40 questions in 2 hours, from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. after my lunch from today onward. Now that you know where to start, what to study, and best of all, when to do it, you have also linked studying to an existing daily habit of eating lunch. This technique is known as habit stacking, and it works by attaching a new habit to an existing one. This will work like a daily reminder and help you develop a new habit, which is a well-directed action of study. That makes sense, right? Second step, how to start studying. Let's move on to the second step, which is to start studying. How to start studying. I'm sure you've missed something, so go back and review the last 30 seconds. Once you have clarity on things and have made a plan, go ahead and use the reverse process of action instead of motivation. It's not as simple as I just said, and I fully realize it, but there are techniques to help you. You must already be aware of the 5-minute rule, which states that if you want to study for 2 or 3 hours, just start with 5 minutes. All you have to do is tell yourself to sit down in front of your books and study for 5 minutes. This will help you get over any early resistance because you'll see that continuing to study is actually rather easy. Let's recap. You formed a plan to study in the first place. You then started studying, and now the third stage is to continue studying until you finish and reach what are referred to as the motivation loops. Give me a minute to explain what motivation loops are. Third step, how to study for long. So moving on to the next step, which is how to study for a longer period. It is difficult to study for 2 or 3 hours at a time, which is why we have methods like the Pomodoro Technique and ultradian sprints. The Pomodoro Technique is to study for 25 minutes and take a break for 5 minutes. The ultradian sprint is to study for 90 minutes and take a break for 20 minutes. These things can actually help you study longer. I've also covered a focus technique in my previous video, so I'll just put it on the end screen so you can watch it after this one. So going back 3 steps, first, you made a study plan, then you started studying, then you kept studying. And finally, the 4th step, motivation loops and rewards. Step 4 is to reward yourself for all the work you have been doing. Although this may seem like the dumbest step out of all the ones we've uncovered in this video, it's actually one of the most important ones because rewards encourage you to study harder the next time you pick your book. By doing this, you'll be able to close the motivation loop. You can do this by listening to a song, taking a coffee or snack in the breaks, or taking a nap. It is necessary to make a plan to chill because it ignites your reward system and makes you perform better. It will give you the dopamine you need to work even harder to accomplish your goals. This is reverse motivation, which is to create a plan of action and get motivation out of it to study when you are not motivated enough to study. That's what I meant when I said that the rule for most successful people is that action comes first and motivation comes second. Conclusion. Having said that, I really hope you find this video useful. People work because they have to, not because they are motivated to. So if you summarize everything I have said in this video, it will definitely help you get started with your studies. You ultimately need to push yourself to take on challenging tasks because if you don't, then who will make a difference in your life? You must establish your own study habits because you are no longer a child. If you think this video is helpful, you should share it with at least one of your friends. Please support us by liking and sharing this video. If you want to see more videos like this, then subscribe to my YouTube channel and press the bell icon.